everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I'm Tyrone. That is Devin. But wait, before we get into this awesome tale of an old book, please hit that subscribe button right down there. We are about to embark. See how I said that? Embark on a journey to Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio.
Papa! It speaks!
He's just a puppet.
No, I'm not. I'm a real boy.
People are sometimes afraid of things they don't know.
I'm in love with that film because it wasn't that Disney shit.
Yeah, they broke away from that shit by a lot.
I was like, ooh. Ooh. That's why when I was watching, I was like, ooh, look at this.
I was watching it. I was like, Disney need to take some notes. Like, one group of people care about the movie, and the other is just trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? When you were like, let's watch Pinocchio, I was like, which one? So many, right? Like, I don't know what the heck it is about this year in freaking Pinocchio. There was the Disney version. There's this Del Toro version. There's another one that became a meme online.
Your name will be Pinocchio.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
But here we are, yet again, with another Pinocchio. You would think that this movie would absolutely suck ass because it's got to be the 93rd Pinocchio film this year. Not even the first one we reviewed on this channel.
No.
And yet somehow it kind of ruled.
Starts off with him and his son. And this is like wartime Italy.
Yeah, World War One.
Yeah, World War One Italy. I'm like, yo, really?
Yeah.
It was like, that's not the Pinocchio I know. But they show Carlo and him like doing everyday things where they're building stuff together.
Yeah. So the movie spends a lot of time with Geppetto and his living son. It spends a lot more time with that than the original. I don't know why I'm calling it the original, the remake, the Disney remake ever did. And before we even meet Carlo, Jiminy Cricket's like, this kid dies. And you're like, oh, the movie starts off. It's like, yeah, Geppetto's an old drunk because his kid died. It's like, shit. And then it just like rewinds and we see Geppetto with Carlo.
And, you know, he's a good boy. He listens to his papa. And he's just excited for things, excited to go to school. And the day that when he dies is so abruptly, but also
so brutal,
funny in a way.
Yeah, it's so brutal. It's almost funny. Like I kind of expected Carlo to get sick and be like, "Oh, I'm too weak, Papa." But no, the movie is Guillermo del Toro. He's like, "I'm dropping a fucking bomb on this kid." I'm like, what? He's like, little kid, he's like holding a pine cone and looking up at Jesus.
Exactly.
And the bomb drops on his head. I'm like, holy shit.
It's because we know the reason why Guillermo did that. He did that because he wanted to show you the source of Geppetto's pain.
The beginning of the film starts off with World War I, but there's a time jump and we move to World War II, and we see fascism moving throughout the land, and you're like
Nazis?
Yeah, like, why is this happening? But that actually works really, really well for the themes of Pinocchio, because obviously Pinocchio, he's a puppet, and puppets are usually controlled with strings, you know? And so this fascist nation is trying to control its people. And I'm like, yo, this movie's got stuff on its mind. You know what I mean? Like, and then of course there's the whole crucifix, which somehow only got a little bit hurt during the big explosion. Yeah, I don't know how a bomb got dropped on. It doesn't matter. but later on, Pinocchio, who is made of wood, he looks up at the crucifix, which is also made of wood. And he's like, how come they all like this guy, but they don't like me?
Everybody likes him.
Who?
Him.
Huh?
They were all singing to him. He's made of wood too. Why do they like him and not me.
And I'm like, dang, did he just compare himself to Jesus? And then there's another scene later where he's like on a crucifix. He's literally on a cross. I'm like, yo, this movie is like, this is not what I was expecting at all.
The Blue Fairy is depicted as an angel.
A biblical angel, not like the cutesy wing thing, but like the scary thing with eyes, like
the scary thing with eyes. And to me, I find that comforting. And I'm like, cool, that looks awesome.
Yeah, the movie's got like I said earlier, like big themes about not just fascism, but also about death and life, the afterlife, Christianity, like, and I think it handles them. Now, these are a lot of themes for a Pinocchio film, so it does get a little muddled, but I think it handles these themes like really, really well. Like Pinocchio dies multiple times,
several times,
multiple times, and meets multiple like angels, and he thinks about his life, and he thinks about Jesus's life, and obviously the movie draws clear parallels between him and Jesus. How he is a kid who's been reborn again.
I'm not sure. Would you say that this is for children?
Yes, it is for kids, but maybe not really small kids. I don't think really small kids will really understand a lot of the Nazi stuff and fascism stuff, or particularly care about all the Jesus crucifix stuff. But the movie does get kind of creepy and scary, which it's, we said the original Pinocchio, I keep saying the original Pinocchio, the Disney remake of Pinocchio got creepy, but that was like an unintentionally creepy. This one is like a purposefully creepy. And so maybe not the smallest of kids, but I do think this is still a kid's film.
And you're right, it probably is a kid's film because it's some musical parts in this.
Yeah.
When they were first started doing the musical parts, I was like, oh.
Me too.
All the things my eyes can see.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come
me
on.
too.
I didn't come here for all that. I came here for a story. I actually see this whole thing happen. So let's compare here.
But the movie kind of converses with that too. Jiminy Cricket keeps trying to start this song, and then he gets interrupted. They're like, "No one wants to hear your stupid song, dude."
My dear father.
I'm going to church.
The movie's just like, anyway, I think that's pretty funny. But you're right. The musical elements were the weakest parts.
Yeah. Now let's say something here. When it comes to the animation style for this, I watched the behind the scenes of this. They did this thing where they took for Pinocchio's facial expressions, it was individual faces.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had to post and put on each, like every time he was making like any type of expression that he was making, where he was sad, happy, whatever it is, they had a different face for it. That's one awesome part. The way they drew Jiminy Cricket, he looked like a damn cricket.
He did like a cricket.
All right.
And the stop motion, I understand. Yeah. I feel like the phrase stop motion makes you think the image is going to be kind of like, like a, jittery. This is the smoothest stop motion I've ever seen. I don't know if they enhanced it with the computer or what, but like it is elite level. And also for a stop motion film, this movie's long. It's 2 hours. This, I don't know how long it took them to record this, but I mean, like, wow, that's incredible.
That one part where the monkey Spazzazzle or whatever his name was, when he found Pinocchio and he went to go tell the little demon guy, that took 3 months.
I believe it.
That one thing of him moving from this and all the stuff that's happening in the background to him coming up on the side to knock on the door was 3 months.
I believe it. And so like the animation's really good, and I'm a little out of my depth here, but I feel like the lighting was really good too. Like it looked really, really good.
Geppetto came through his door, and then there's sunlight behind him reflecting, passing through a bicycle.
Yeah, and like,
excuse me.
And there's also little details where like hands and ears are a little translucent, like they are in real life. Like it just looks really good. Like I forgot and which is what you're supposed to do. I forgot that this was like a stop motion thing after a while. In my mind almost kind of thought it was like CGI or something. Like I just thought it was great. It was really good.
Yeah. We know that, this is the boy who wanted to be a real boy, and he was taught not to lie. And in the previous film, it didn't show any of that. He just went to school because it was told to go to school.
Right.
And this Pinocchio had like depth.
And this Pinocchio, while he wanted to be a real boy, Geppetto also had things that he wanted Pinocchio to be too. Geppetto didn't want Pinocchio. He wanted Carlo, okay?
Yeah.
And he wanted Pinocchio to be Carlo. And so the fact that Pinocchio was so different from Carlo, like you said earlier, was like a good little boy. He loved school. He loved to learn. Pinocchio was not like that at all. He was a lot more rambunctious, a lot more chaotic. Geppetto, like, really struggled with that. He's like, you're not like my other son, my good son. You're a burden. And I was like,
you're a burden. Oh, yeah. You're a burden.
I made you to be like Carlo. Why can't you be more like Carlo?
Because I'm not Carlo. I don't want to be like Carlo.
Geppetto had to learn to love Pinocchio differently than he loved Carlo.
Right. He had to learn to love Pinocchio for being Pinocchio. Right, for being who he was. And Pinocchio was not as easy to love as Carlo was.
That's the type of kid that you want to just kick the hell out and say, if you want to survive out on your own, you go outside then. You don't want to follow my rules.
That's right. In the Disney remake, I remember saying that I thought Pinocchio was annoying. And I think he was unintentionally annoying. But in this one, Pinocchio was annoying, but that was just his personality. He was kind of like, he had a big personality, Geppetto had to learn to love that.
I want to talk about the villain in this story. He was a joint combination of the carnival bad guy who stole Pinocchio in the remake and also the fox.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And that was played by Christoph Waltz.
Jinx, buy me a Coke. Oh, snap, man, we're still saying the same thing. This is amazing.
And he did an amazing job.
And remember in the remake, I was like, oh, the fox is going to be the villain, and the fox just vanishes. And I'm like, where'd this guy go? Right? Where'd he go?
It's extra stage left.
Yeah. And so this film, it kind of, like you said, it stitches multiple characters together so that we've got a singular villain that we can follow throughout the film. And I felt like I understood him too. He has a little song where he talks about how at one point his carnival was really good. It was like quite the sight to behold, but now it's not so much anymore. And he's chasing it, man. He wants that high again.
Trying to get that dream back.
Yeah, and he sees Pinocchio, he sees the opportunity, and he's willing to do anything for it. So I liked that I understood the villain. While I didn't agree with what he was doing, right?
No.
I feel like I understood him. He wasn't a complete like mustache twirling villain. So this was a much more complex film than I ever expected it to be, and I wonder if this is the best Pinocchio film I've seen. I think it is.
I think it is, man.
Yeah.
I really do think it is.
I've got a soft spot for the old cartoon. But that just might be a nostalgia thing. If someone were to ask me which Pinocchio should I watch, it would be this one and not the Disney version.
I totally agree with that, man. Well, we always say we love films that have something on their mind. They have something to talk about.
Yeah, because I kind of lost myself in the middle of it.
I did. I lost myself too. I was up here just talking about like, oh man, Pinocchio's gonna live forever, because if he lives forever, everyone else around you
will
dies.
Die. Yeah. Talks about that too. Mortality. His little kid who goes to war. He's holding a gun, and he's like, look.
Man.
It's like, look, we tied, and his dad's like, you didn't tie. Here's a gun. Blow that motherfucker's head off. And it's like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, dang.
But yeah, that was his friend that he made, Candlewick.
Mm-hmm.
And that relationship right there, that relationship between Candlewick and his Nazi father,
Yeah.
it was such a bad representation of of love, and it was displayed on there where he did not love it. He didn't care about it. He just wanted to make his son a soldier.
Right. His Candlewick's father did not accept Candlewick for who he was, right? He was trying to form him into something else, right? And which is what Geppetto was doing initially. But their relationship was not good. It wasn't until Geppetto actually loved Pinocchio for who he was did their relationship like really blossom and take off. And I like that comparison a lot. And who would have thought that when I watched the remake, I was like, you know what this movie needs? This movie needs a child soldier. That's what this movie needs. And a Nazi. That would really clean things up. And somehow it did. I thought this was a really good movie.
You want to get into the rating?
Let's do it.
I've watched Meat Canyon. And Meat Canyon is an animation studio that's on YouTube. And they make funny videos. And they made this one called Am I a Real Boy? Or they called The Wooden Boy. And in that reaction on Europe Nation Reactions, go and subscribe, I did say, I'm Pinocchio'd out. I said I did that before I even seen this. I was just like, I'm so Pinocchio'd out. I've seen so much bad things. And then I got one comment in that. And that comment was from someone, and they said, you might want to check out Guillermo del Toro's. It's 10 times better than whatever this trash was before that you watched.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I saw that comment. Thank you to that person. And for that reason, I watched a very, very good detailed Pinocchio film. And I have to agree with you, my brother. I think that this is the best representation of Pinocchio. I'm going to have to give this film a B+. And the reason I'm giving it B+, because some of the musical...
Fair enough. I think that's totally fair. I'm giving this an A. I thought this was really good.
Hey! All right, switch. Hold on, pause. I'm giving this an A.
Okay.
Take that B out of here.
All right, it's out.
Scratch it off. I'm giving it an A too, to be honest with you.
I think your assessment of like the musical numbers being annoying, I think that's fair. I think that's fair enough because they didn't really fit anyway.
You don't even need it.
No, didn't need it. I bet you. I gotta think about it. I bet you could probably fast forward through the musical numbers and still get pretty much everything you need. I thought the movie looked really good. I thought the movie had a lot on its mind, maybe too much, which is a weird thing to say. And I can see why Del Toro wanted to make Pinocchio. He wanted to make a movie about fascism, about how the government might try to control you. He wanted to make a movie about religion and how maybe religion might try to control you too. Because you notice all those people in the church were all fascists too.
There was a salute and everything.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting anything like that.
If he's a puppet, where are his strings?
That's true. Who controls you, wooden boy?
Of course I control him.
Who controls you?
It made me think about the character of Pinocchio in ways that I never really thought of him that way. And again, I never thought about these ideas of control. But using a puppet to explain that, genius. That was great. So I really enjoyed it, and this was a welcome surprise.
More importantly, he made a film that he wanted to express the love of a father to a son.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep,
and
he never lost sight of that human element.
Never. Do you recommend this film for people to see?
Absolutely, I do recommend it. It's really good.
I recommend this tenfold for people to see. But most importantly, do you recommend it? Get in the comments and let us know if you've seen it. Do you recommend it? Or do you want people to run away from it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, don't judge a book by its cover. I was nervous about watching another Pinocchio film too, but this one is worth it.
It's definitely worth it. Hey, I gave this film an A. Devin gave this film an A.
Yeah, copycat.
Hey, I'm copycatting all the way. I'm looking over your shoulder.
Over my test.
But that is our review and rating for the new Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio film.
Life is such a wonderful gift.
Hey, we like to thank you for clicking on this video. And if you are new to us, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button right down there at the bottom. And go ahead and hit a like if you did like this and put that thumbs up, all right? Or you can hit that thumbs down. Whichever you choose, it is your opinion. But just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. See ya. Have a good one. Happy New Year.